This week in the Complaint Corner, Terminator, spoilers, and some other shit. This is Critically Complained. Hi, I'm Adam, and this is Steve, and first, we're talking Avatar. I don't know if you know this, but we love the Avatar movies. Well, I say movies, but it's actually only one movie, despite what James Cameron might say.
It's just one long, big cinematic adventure, Adam.
So, the Avatar sequel movies, so there's 4 of them, and they're all getting filmed at the same time.
Because James Cameron is a crazy person.
Yes, he is. But the sequels have officially started filming now on a budget of $1 million for all 4 of them, which is a lot of money to pay at one time. I mean, it's probably going to pay off later since Avatar is the highest grossing film of all time, but still, like, it's like, hey, I'll give you, I'll earn you like $5 million if you give me $1 million right now, and I'd just be like, no, like, it's a lot of money.
Plus, who films all their stuff at the same time? You know, like that's just.
I think there
weird.
are a couple of examples of this happening before.
But 4 of them at once.
Well, no, not 4, but Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3 filmed at the same time, and there was another example that I can't seem to remember. Whatever. There have been a couple of times. Oh, Lord of the Rings. They filmed Lord of the Rings 2 and 3 at the same time, and that's cool and whatever. The difference being that Avatar is 4 movies, and I think this is the single highest production budget ever. I could be wrong on that, but it's a lot.
That's a lot of work to go through to sequels to a movie that wasn't even that exceptional.
Yeah, I know, right? But this is kind of newsworthy just because, hey, they're actually finally doing it. It only took them like what? How long has it been? Like 12 years? Like it's happening.
I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, I guess, but I don't know if there really was anybody out there who was like, "Oh my God, it's been 12 years. Where is my Avatar sequel?"
Yeah, you know? I feel like there are people out there who did like the Avatar.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, it was whatever. Yeah, but
yeah. But I agree that like they kind of missed their chance to make sequels like 6 years ago. Like it's really been too long in my opinion.
Especially if you're gonna make 4 of them.
Yeah, no one cares anymore. Like it's been too long. Like now we got like we've got Marvel films and we've got these DC films trying to take off, and Star Wars is back. Like no one cares. Like no one gives a crap about Avatar anymore, at least in my opinion. At least I don't care.
I don't care.
Like
you could speak for me. That's fine.
Maybe there are people out there who are just like, no, this is awesome. I loved the first Avatar.
I'm sure there are people out there who said that it's amazing, unique space vision or whatever, and it's like, okay, it's a lie. It's not, but putting that aside, I'm sure people like it. Whatever. It's got classic status to somebody, I'm sure, but.
I mean, I think it's a visually nice movie.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what. Without being too, turn my nose up at the movies and too snobby about it or whatever, like that's what means a good movie now is it looks pretty.
I kind of agree with you.
I thought E.T. was shit personally, but that was a good movie to lots of folks just because of story and heart and junk. Oh
wow, you didn't like it?
I said E.T.
Or E.T. That's what I meant to say.
Not really.
You didn't like E.T.
Not really.
Really?
No.
I loved that movie when I was a kid.
That's fine. But... and that was a good movie for folks. People seem to like Titanic too. I don't get it, but they seem to.
Yeah, that one I'm with you on. I don't understand what the.
But Avatar was basically just number one because it was exciting 3D and it was big and budgety and there were explosions on a planet.
Yeah, it was like the first real 3D film for most people, and that's a really cool thing, and that's I think why everyone loved it.
I didn't even see it in 3D. I didn't even care enough to do that.
I did, and it was cool.
Well, 3D makes me nauseous, so.
Yeah, I get that. And that's true of a lot of people. But I feel like 3D is kind of old hat by now.
Well,
Like no one really
yes, no
cares
one
anymore.
cares, but you know.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, oh, it's a 3D, whatever. And I just
Do
whatever.
you
I
remember?
feel
Do you remember
so
when
whatever.
3D had to have those red and blue glasses, and they had to have the red and blue lines around everybody on the screen to make it 3D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to the Spy Kids movie or the Spy Kids 3 or
Oh.
something in
Oh
3D.
no.
Yeah, Spy
Yeah.
Kids 3D. That's what it was, and I watched the
Yep.
whole thing without the glasses on. So
Really?
I had like
That
big red and blue silhouettes around everybody the entire movie. It was very annoying.
yeah, that sounds awful, dude. Like, oh no. Why did you go see that? Why
Well,
would you
I
see
was a
that
little bit too
movie?
young to make my own movie going decisions at the time. So
Well, I know, but like,
because they wanted to
that's
see it
just
that way. I don't know, whatever, bro. I'm just whatever. Because they probably didn't know at the time that the horrible mistake they were making. I don't know, whatever. But getting back to Avatar,
yeah. Getting back to Avatar, who gives a shit? That's
basically,
kind of.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean, I'm glad that they're finally filming them. I guess.
I
Like, I'm
whatever.
happy for them. I don't
I
know.
I don't
Whatever.
feel anything for them about it.
Maybe when the first trailer comes out, I'll just be like, "Wow, it looks so good."
See,
Maybe
I'm
that'll
kind of
happen. I
numb
don't
to
know.
that now, and I feel like a lot of people are too.
Yeah,
Because once
just
you
trailers in general.
well, not just trailers, but just like, movies that look good. Because I think we've reached the point now, unless there's a huge jump in technology, I feel like we've reached the plateau of where CG can take us for the time being, And once I saw Optimus
Yeah.
Prime jumping through New York, that was basically the end for me. I was like, okay, that's about as good as it's gonna get in my lifetime. So
Yeah,
I'm not
like I'm
impressed
sure that
anymore.
CGI. I kind of agree with you. I'm sure that CGI will improve, but I feel like it's gotten so good that at this point, like it's not going to be like super noticeable improvements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of be like a few things. Like maybe 10 years from now, when they make Avatar, or when they make Star Wars 78. They're gonna have another CGI Tarkin, but it's actually gonna look good that time. Maybe I don't know. like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Maybe.
But that's why I don't
But
care about the Avatar things. The story didn't grab me the first time around, and if all we're banking on is the fact that it looks pretty, then you have my ticket money. Sorry, for any
I
of them
might
probably.
I might see it. It depends. Like if like my dad my dad was really liked the first one. If my dad really wants to see the new ones, I'll probably go
Well, I
see
mean,
it
if somebody
afterwards. But
takes me there, I'll see it. But I have no inclinations of going on my own.
yeah,
Sorry,
I don't know.
Avatar.
We'll see.
Sorry, James
We'll
Cameron.
see. So our next bit of news is Terminator. Oh, Terminator! I love Terminator. Terminator 6, which they're currently working on, is going to ignore everything that happened in Terminator Genesis, which was the fifth one, which only came out in like 2013, I think. It wasn't that long ago. It was like what is that? 4 years? 3 years?
Four
Something like
years,
that.
Adam.
4 years. Shut up. And I just find this hilarious. I'm not even a huge fan of Terminator. I think Terminator is really overhyped by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've seen the second one. I've seen portions of the first one, and I thought that they were good. Like I was just like, yeah, they're fine. They're perfectly acceptable, action films. But I feel like people have way too much of a hard on for those two movies.
Well,
Like it's
okay.
just
I
like, yeah,
mean,
they're
people only exist in extremes now. It's either that's the worst movie ever or that's the best movie ever, and I am no exception. I'm a filthy
I
hyperbolic worm
I
just like everybody else. But
I am the exception to that. Like there are a lot of films that I'm just like, oh, it's okay, I guess it's fine. Like I don't like being in extremes. I think that most films have at least something good about them. There's only been a few exceptions to that rule where like there is like something that's so bad that there's nothing I can say positively about it. I can't even think of one of those. I don't know. I feel like that whole dynamic of either everything is the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. I feel like it's doing a disservice to films
well, it
because you're
is.
not. That's
But that doesn't
well,
mean it doesn't
it's
happen.
not film. It's not film critique. You're not talking about the film. You're just like overhyping or underhyping everything. Like you're not being honest. I don't like it.
Well, you're right, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Oh no, it totally does happen, but I don't want it to happen, and I try very hard not to fall into that trap myself. I try to be as fair as I can to films in general, not just films, anything really, any TV show, video
Well, all right,
game,
then
whatever.
be fair to Terminator. See what that gets
Okay,
you.
I'll try to be fair to Terminator. I have not seen Terminator Genesis, but I heard that it was not very good.
No, it was pretty all over the dang place. I've seen them all, actually.
Really?
Just like I've
Wow.
seen all the Resident Evils, and I wish I hadn't. But I have seen them.
You've seen all the Resident Evils? Oh my god. Why did you do
I don't
that?
know, they just kind of show up in my DVR sometimes, and I'll be like, well, I've already got it here, you know. I'll subject myself to this, why not? But, no, as far as Terminator goes, the second one was the best one. The first one was pretty good. The third one was fine, if you like that sort of thing. The fourth one was not so fine. And the fifth one was pretty dang ridiculous. So, you know.
That's kind of. I have seen the fourth one. I went to see that one in theaters. I was young at the time, but I went to see that one in theaters because my dad wanted to see it. And wow, I'm mentioning my dad twice now. What the hell? But my dad wanted to see it because he liked the other ones, and so we went to see Terminator Salvation, I think it was. That's actually at the time that was the only one I had seen. Like I hadn't seen any of the other ones.
I bet you were confused.
So,
And I bet
was a
that
bit
movie didn't help.
confused. I was a bit confused, but I actually kind of liked it. Like I thought it was fine at the time. Like I was just like, yeah, it was enjoyable. It wasn't like it didn't blow me away. I didn't love it, but I was just like, yeah, it was okay. But then I found out later that everyone hated that movie, which I thought was funny because I was just like, really, it didn't seem that bad, but okay, whatever you guys say. And I did not see Genesis, but I did read a lot about Genesis.
I saw Genesis. I experienced that.
Did you see it in theaters?
No.
Oh.
But I did see it later on.
Yeah, I know that Matt Smith is in it.
Yes, he is. He's Skynet.
He's what?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Smith is Skynet.
How can someone be Skynet? It's an idea. You can't.
Because there's like a holographic representation of it or something, like the little girl from Resident Evil, except this one is Matt Smith.
Huh. That's really weird.
Yeah,
but
and
okay.
also he was actually Matt Smith when he poisoned John Connor in the opening 3 minutes of the movie. He was actually there in person, like a real person was Skynet, like in real life, was a physical form.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then
yes,
spoiler alert: fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger turns into a liquid metal Terminator at the end. I'm gonna spoil that for you because you've never seen it, but it doesn't matter. He turns into a liquid metal Terminator because people like the liquid metal Terminator, and I did too. But that doesn't mean that I needed that to happen.
Yeah, I didn't need that either. I don't think anyone needed that, like ever.
And also, that movie rewrote the story that of the first two or first one, yeah. Where what's his nuts comes back in time and then bangs.
And then he bangs.
Yeah, and then that's where we get John Connor from.
He becomes the father of John Connor.
Yeah. That this story rewrote that, where like she already knew there was a Terminator coming on account of that she already had her own Terminator, and I don't think they ever explained it. But
no, that I remember about that. Yeah, it was they didn't explain it. Like they sent a Terminator. Apparently, a Terminator was sent back in time to when she was 9, and then. Arnold Schwarzenegger was sent back in time also to stop that from happening, and then he like prepared her to fight the Terminators for like 30 years.
Yes, and then other Terminator came.
Showed up.
And then this other Terminator that's supposed to be here came, and then they killed it in the first 2 minutes or whatever once it arrived. It didn't even have time to take anybody's clothes yet, and then they killed it off already. And it's like, okay, well, threat's done then, right? And the liquid metal one, for some reason, is already there, even though I don't remember it being there in the first movie, but it was there for some fucking reason. So let's not worry about that.
The liquid metal one was only in the second one.
Yeah.
He was not in the first one. The first one was a very simple film. Like it was just like, Terminator gets sent back in time. Oh shit, we can't let that happen. Okay, we're gonna send one of our guys back in time.
Yes, I know.
And then they fight and they defeat the Terminator, and then the guy that got sent back in time becomes the father of the person who sent him back in time.
How about that? Ain't life grand?
Perfect sense.
Yes. But needless to say, that movie was ridiculous, and the fact that they're just ignoring it is hilarious. But it also kind of shows you what a mess those movies are, where they can just kind of pick and choose their own canon at this point.
I completely agree. Like it's really funny to me. Like the fact that you can just ignore an entire film in a franchise and just be like, "Yep, that didn't happen."
I mean, to be fair, if you were going to ignore one of them, I would ignore that one since it changes everything. but
Well, yeah. I'm not saying they shouldn't ignore it. What I'm saying is maybe they should plan things a little bit more. Like maybe they shouldn't have made Genesis be such a
you
giant,
probably could have stopped with maybe they shouldn't have
crazy
made
pile.
Genesis. They could have just not
Like,
made
yeah.
Genesis.
Yeah, they could have just not made Genesis. Or they could have made Genesis make sense.
Or that
That
would have
would have
also been a
also,
route you could go.
yeah,
That would have also been a tactic.
not
Not
completely,
turn John Connor into a Terminator would have been good.
yeah, not completely rewrite all of the films that people actually like. Like maybe you shouldn't do that. Crazy
I
thought.
don't know why they are
But
doing or did do
you know,
that, but
it's funny though because Terminator of all franchises is the one of the only franchises I could think of where you really can ignore one film if you want to because you can, since there's so much time travel, you can literally just be like, "Yep, none of that happened anymore. That was an alternate timeline." Like you can literally just be like, "Nope, the stuff that happened in Terminator Genesis never happened."
yeah, you
They can
can,
explain
but
it.
when you do that kind of shit, you gotta explain it.
Well,
And they didn't,
it
and
wouldn't
they're
be
not.
that
It doesn't sound like
hard.
they're gonna explain it. They're just gonna say it
I
didn't
mean, it wouldn't
happen.
be that difficult. All they have to do is just be like, yeah, remember the Terminator that we sent back to when Sarah Connor was 9? Yeah, we stopped that from ever happening.
So she
So
died then.
then, well, no, look, I'm talking about the one that tried to kill her when
Oh,
she was 9.
okay.
Like no one tried to kill her when she was 9. They just like blooped.
Well,
They
yeah, that's another
erased
thing
that.
that's stupid. The Terminators are idiots because they shouldn't go back in time to kill Sarah Connor. They should go back in time to kill like Sarah Connor's grandparents or something. That's how you should do it.
Well, see, in my opinion, the idea of Terminators are stupid because these are robots and they should understand like causality and they should understand that they should not try fucking with time because they could theoretically wipe themselves out of existence like really easily. They don't you don't you know when you're dealing with time travel, it can get really complicated really fast. Like you could go back in
Well, I'm
time
pretty
and
sure
try
they
to prevent.
calculated it out. You know,
Did they?
I'm sure
Like
because fucking John Connor has nothing to do with Skynet until the Resistance starts, which doesn't happen until Skynet takes over. So they're golden until he actually becomes a problem.
I suppose, but I'm
Unless you
worried that
count
you
the
don't know
fourth
what.
movie or the third movie, in which case he starts leading the Resistance before Skynet takes over because they sent him to that bunker thingy to do that very thing, only because he had prior knowledge of it from the future. So that kind of fucks with the timeline a bit. But let's not try to understand the Terminator timeline because that's a Herculean task, and we don't have time for that today.
Yeah, no, we do not. I think we're gonna move on. But I still to kind of have a final thought on this. It's is funny. I think it is funny,
I agree.
and it's just like ha 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 Terminator. These films
What a
should
tangled
just
web you
stop.
weave.
I think that at this point they should just reboot the entire franchise. Just like let's just say like okay, everything else is gone. We're gonna make a new Terminator movie and we're gonna have it be its own complete thing. Like
Well,
nothing else has ever
why don't they
happened.
just not make it anymore? Why is that
Yeah,
not an option?
that's those are your two options. Either stop making Terminator films or reboot the entire thing
Well,
because
obviously
it's
they're gonna
not
go with
worth
the
it.
reboot then because they love their reboots over there. But it's
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like you could maybe just let it go. You know, like
I
Aliens, we
agree.
could let Aliens go.
Oh God, yes, we could do that.
Like I never saw Prometheus or whatever, but it's my
I
understanding
did.
that it's not ooky spooky goo aliens, but actually like blue people that are aliens.
It's very complicated.
See,
But
that's it doesn't need to be though. Just spaceship, aliens,
yeah,
cats and
I
flamethrowers. Done.
really feel like Ridley Scott just really likes to make things as complicated as possible because that's the only explanation I could think of for why he had like okay. In the first, oh, no, I don't want to talk about Alien. No, I don't want to fall down that pit. No, we're not. We're gonna do that another time when we actually are talking about something related to Alien. Nope,
Okay.
we're not doing this today.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
We're gonna move on to the next
Way
bit
to
of
not
news.
segue, Adam. Proud of you.
Yeah, well, shut up. Kingsman, the Golden Circle director Matthew Vaughn, apparently begged the studio not to show a certain spoiler in the trailers, which they did. And if you haven't seen the trailers, if you've been really careful to not know any spoilers, I'm about to tell you what happened in the trailers. So just I don't know, don't listen. So specifically, the spoiler that he was talking about was that Colin Firth's character was still alive because he apparently died in the first one. I haven't seen it. I keep meaning to, but I still haven't seen it. The whatever Kingsman, the Secret Service. I haven't seen that yet. But Colin Firth's character dies, and then obviously, like every fucking trailer, they show him being alive, and he has like this eye patch on, and that's a huge, huge spoiler. And Matthew Vaughn told the studio, please don't, because apparently, like, the first act of the new movie is all about him, or at least trying to track him down, but the characters don't know that's who they're trying to track down, and then they finally figure out what's going on. It's like this big moment. But the moment is ruined if you know the moment is coming.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to take this opportunity to talk about spoilers in films, and or not just films, anything. And do you think, Steve, that that spoilers ruin a movie, or do you think that it's a good thing to know about what's going to happen in a movie before you see it?
Well, to answer that, I think we have to just kind of get our nomenclature down specifically, because I think you're talking about two different things.
Okay.
Okay, a spoiler and a trailer are different things. Trailer helps you know what you're to expect in the movie. Spoiler gives
Yeah.
away all the good stuff in the movie. Trailers are good. I want to know what I'm going into. I'd much rather know something about the movie or what its intentions are than I would just going in blind, because I'm not going to pay you to go see something that I have no idea what I'm about to witness, you know? On the
Right.
other
Right.
hand,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of spoilers when I care about something. You know, if it's not, I'm not going to go see it, you know, then it's like whatever, spoil away. But those people, if, you know, I had to put myself in the situation if it was something I wanted to see, I don't want it ruined for me. You know, it's like Game of Thrones, right? No one will let you spoil that. Mobs will form, pitchforks and torches. They will burn you at the stake if you spoil anything about Game of Thrones.
And luckily, there's nothing else to spoil about Game of Thrones because the books are way far behind on the show now. So
Well,
I couldn't ruin it for anyone anymore.
okay, but anyway, that was the idea, right? So spoiler,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
get what you're
like
saying.
spoiler, but trailer, as you were making that excellent point before. Actually, I'll let you take it from there. But spoiler
So yeah,
versus trailer.
I was thinking about this. Steve and I were talking about this before we started the show. So I'm just gonna kind of there was this film that came out recently called Mother, and all of the trailers for the film were really vague, and they kind of made it seem like it was like a house invasion film. Like Jennifer Lawrence is in it, and it had like a horror vibe in the trailers, and there were all these people in her house, and they were doing all this weird stuff, and you didn't really know what was going on, and it had a very, very hard horror vibe to the trailers. And then the
Yeah, it
film
was
came
very
out.
deliberately set up that way.
Yeah. And then the film came out, and okay, here we go. Spoilers. The film is basically a almost literal like retelling of the Bible. Like every character in the film is a representation of something else. Jennifer Lawrence is Mother Earth, and her husband is God, and all these people are different humans. Like the first two that show up are Adam and Eve, and then a little bit later their sons show up, which are Cain and Abel, and then a bunch of other people show up, and that's supposed to be like the church, and blah 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 blah. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've read a lot about it, and people really, really hated the film coming out of it. Critics actually kind of liked it for the most part, but like the general, Joe Schmo type people like you and me, they didn't like it like at all.
Yeah,
Like
because they were lied to.
yeah, they were lied to. It had an F cinema score, which has only happened 19 times ever. Um, and people hated it because, like, imagine going to see a new horror film and then it's a literal retelling of the Bible, and not only that, but it's an especially graphic retelling of the Bible. Spoilers again. If you don't want to know what happens, I'm about to tell
Don't read the
you.
Bible then, if you don't want to know what
Right?
happens.
There's a lot of really weird shit that happens. There's some sex, there's some other stuff, and at the end of the film, Jesus is born. They don't call him Jesus, but that's what he is. Jesus is born. He is passed around to this crowd of people, and then his neck is accidentally snapped, and everyone goes crazy with guilt or whatever, and then they eat the baby. A newborn baby is killed and then eaten in the sequence of events of this film. And
How
if
did
I
this? How did
didn't
this make it
know,
to a big screen? This is like a weird indie film kind of thing.
yeah, I know that's a whole other conversation, but yeah, I don't understand why they thought this should be like a wide release thing. This should be like a super niche like art house. I can't speak today. This should be like a weird art house film. Like this should be the kind of film that I never even heard of.
Yeah.
Like this should be a film that I like never have any idea existed until like 5 years later when someone on Reddit like talks about it.
Right.
But instead, it got a wide release, and here we are.
Yeah.
And
But that's the difference between trailer and spoiler. Because, the
I
trailer
guess.
is supposed to tell you what the movie's about. It didn't do that. But,
Yeah. And I agree with you that like, a trailer. I think trailers are important. I think that it's important when I'm gonna go see a film, especially if I'm gonna spend money to see a film. I want to have some idea of what it is I'm buying.
Yeah.
Like I want to know what it is. I'm never gonna go see a film like that I've never heard of, that I have not seen anything about. Like that almost sounds interesting in like an intellectual way, but like in like
yeah,
a
but
real
it
life
doesn't
way,
sound like a good use of my money.
yeah, exactly. It's not a good use of my money. Like I'm not just gonna go walk over to a movie theater. Like I'm not gonna like shut my eyes, turn off all of my internet, and not think about movies for like 2 years, and then I'm gonna go to a movie theater and I'm gonna plop my butt down and watch the first movie that I see.
Yep.
Just like, oh, that one. I want to see that one.
Big Mama's House 5. Yeah, whatever. Just give me it.
What's the name of it? I don't even want to know. That's a potential spoiler.
Yeah. Just tell me what theater it's in. What number do I go to?
like that would be kind of interesting, but I'm never going to do that.
No,
ever.
never.
Because because I don't want to waste my money. And so I like trailers, but at the same time, if like there are some trailers that I've seen that don't tell you anything, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Something like the Mother trailers almost intentionally mislead you, like try to
Oh,
take
it absolutely
it in a different
does.
direction.
It was there to grab people for the horror crowd. That was all it was.
Exactly, and that's bad. But on the flip side, I don't like that. That's trying to mislead you. I also don't like it when trailers basically just don't tell you anything.
Oh yeah, that's also bad. If it's
I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, and I can't seem to think of one. But like I know there have been trailers before that we've talked about where we're just kind of sitting back, just being like, "Huh, well that certainly was a trailer."
Yeah, I don't know any more than when I started, but it was a trailer.
Yeah, like it's just like, huh? Well, that certainly was an actor, and I saw him standing there, like, and that doesn't help me either. Like a trailer should spoil, kind of. It shouldn't tell you it shouldn't tell you conclusions. Like it shouldn't give away the ending of the film, it shouldn't spoil like how certain sequences play out.
Okay, all right. I think I have an example of that. Maybe this is just off the top of my head. Do you remember the Man of Steel trailer?
Yeah.
And how it didn't tell us anything about Superman? It just showed like artsy music screenshots of clips from the movie. Just him standing there or him pushing that bus out of the water.
And then, there was like a bunch of narrators just like, you're going to be the greatest person
yeah,
that's
exactly.
ever graced the face of the earth. Yeah, I
It's
remember.
Mom and Pop telling him how fucking sweet he is.
Yes. Do you like that as a trailer?
No, it's dumb. Give
you
me information I need. I want to know what happens.
Like
I don't want you to give away the plot, especially when like comedic ones do it and they give away all the good jokes. That sucks too. But
oh yeah, it's Deadpool had that problem.
Yes, it did. But then it's kind of like just it doesn't seem like it should be difficult to tell me what's your product directly. Give me some information about it, but don't give me so much information that I walk away going, well, I've basically seen the good parts. So what do I need to? There's no surprise now.
Yeah, I know, I completely know what you mean. A great example of that would be the Spider-Man Homecoming trailers. Remember how they basically had almost every scene in the movie, in these fucking trailers? Like there was the scene where you see him on the boat, and then you see the boat getting ripped apart, and then you see Iron Man pushing the boat back together, and even though I know that whole sequence was like a 15-minute time frame, I basically saw the whole thing. I saw all of the important parts in the trailer. It was just like boat ripped apart, unripped apart by Iron Man. Iron Man saves the day.
Basically.
Spider-Man tries.
Basically.
Spider-Man tries, and he can't do it.
If you don't, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve it. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, well.
Yeah, and that's another.
I saw this in the trailer. I know it's happening.
you're nothing without the suit. You don't deserve it. I'm gonna take the suit away. And then later in the trailer, you see him wearing his homemade suit and he's fighting the Vulture, and it's just like, oh, okay, so he's gonna go off on his own, try to fight against the Vulture, fail. The boat's gonna rip apart. He's gonna try to fix it. He can't fix it. Iron Man comes in. He saves the day. Iron Man's mad at him for trying to do stuff on his own. He takes the suit away, and then Spider-Man has to prove his worth by not using his new suit, and he has to go back to his old suit and defeat Vulture the old-fashioned way. That's exactly what happened in the movie.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie, but I knew all of that going in. Like I could piece together almost every single element of that without even really thinking about it. It's just like, oh, da 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 da. Okay, oh, then never mind. There it is. Like, that's a bad example. That's an example of too much information. But then there's Man of Steel. Actually, one of the Man of Steel trailers I remember really liking. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the second one. I remember thinking that was a really good trailer at the time.
I don't really remember. I tend to throw away the trailer once I've seen the actual movie. So, you know. This might be a lost cause to try to remember some trailers, but
then like there was like the Guardians of the Galaxy trailers, or Volume 2 that is, which I thought were really good. I thought that for the most they did spoil a few jokes, but they didn't tell me huge plot elements like the other thing. Like, yes, we know that like Star-Lord's dad is in it, but that's basically it. And they tell us that in like the first like 30 minutes of the film. Like, it's not like that's a huge, cliffhanger thing or anything. I don't know. It's interesting having this discussion because it's like I want spoilers, but not a lot. I just kind of want to know, like, I want to know what the conflict is, but I don't want to know how it is resolved.
Exactly. Set me up a problem. Don't tell me what you're gonna do about it, though.
Yeah, I want exactly. Yeah, I want the problem. I don't want the solution and the problem. I just want like the problem or like the beginning of the problem. I want like the something like that. I want to know a bit, but I don't want to know too much.
Treat it like the back of a book where it gives you like a synopsis of, like, oh, what will they do about this? And it's like, I don't know. I guess I'll have to read to find out, Give us one of those instead of like, all right, so here's the bad guy. Here's the fight scene involving the bad guy. Here's the jokes about the stuff that will be ruined forever now and will be totally predictable when the movie shows up. And here's a narrator track. There you go. Enjoy.
And actually, before we move away from this topic, to tie this back into the golden circle thing with the director, I think that movie studios should respect the director's
fuck those guys
vision.
For doing it anyway. But
yeah, that's really fucking shitty. You should respect the director when it comes to spoilers and trailers. Like, I think a director should have a very firm hand in the making of the trailers, being like, no, you can't show this scene. No, you can't show that this.
Silly Adam, that would be the right thing to do.
Like, I don't know why this is such a huge thing. This seems obvious to me. A director should have control over the trailers. Like, it shouldn't just be a bunch of marketing dickheads in an office just like, well, if we show this scene at this particular moment, that will increase our potential revenue by 16%.
Yeah.
Like, we need to make sure that we see Colin Firth because the charts say that older white Englishmen shown in trailers increase potential revenue. Like, it's like, no, fuck you. Like, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
It's all about the film. Like, you should respect the storytelling and you should respect the director who is the storyteller.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like you like what you're just saying. Somebody was like, okay, people are only gonna come because this guy's in the movie, and it's like, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think I know anybody who's not gonna go see the next Star Wars movie because Han Solo died. Spoiler alert: Han Solo dies.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh well, he's not in anymore, so why would I even go? It's like for the rest of them.
I don't know, at the same time, if the next Star Wars film didn't have Luke or Leia or any character we've ever seen before...
Yeah, any of them? That's different. This was just the one character, as far as I fucking know, and he's there anyway.
Yeah, it was just the one.
Which, it's not even like he wasn't going to be there to begin with, He was still going to be there, it was just going to be a surprise. So I don't know, it seems kind of silly. Fuck, if they want to go ahead and sneak Han Solo back into the next movie, I'm not going to complain.
I mean, I would be okay with that if they did it correctly.
Well, yes, if they did it correctly. Maybe he can be a Force ghost.
Well, see, that's an example of doing it incorrectly, in my opinion, because You can't being a force. Okay, it's time to show off my Star Wars cred. You can't be a force ghost unless, first of all, you have to be strong in the force, which Han Solo is
How do
not.
you
But
know?
more than that, I know because they talked about it in one of the novels. I don't even remember which one. What was it?
They specifically
Hot
said
Topic,
Han
whatever.
Solo's not strong with the Force.
Oh, you're talking about how Han Solo is not. Well, okay, that ties into my next thing. Fine, let's go under the assumption that Han Solo is strong with the Force, which has never been alluded to ever.
He
Fine,
just never had
let's
the
pretend.
opportunity. Just give him a chance.
Uh-huh. Okay.
How do you think
Um,
he made that shot at him? Because he uses the Force to curve his bullets, like Wanted.
no. Shut up. But on the flip side, you need special training in order to become a Force Ghost. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi spent years of his life meditating and like trying to connect to the like the Force,
How do you
like
know Han Solo didn't do
in
that
a
too?
deeper sense. Because he didn't.
How do you know?
Because they would have mentioned it.
Why would they? Did they
Because
mention when Obi-Wan did it? I don't remember that part of the
yeah,
movie. Was it right between when he was
no,
talking
they
about the
didn't.
Sandman and their tracks hiding? I don't remember
Well,
that part,
okay.
Adam. Was it before he got cut
It's
down like a
in the
bitch fighting Darth Vader? I don't remember that, Adam.
It's in the novels,
Oh, okay.
Steve. They
Oh, okay.
talked about Hans, or there was a novel, or well, a portion of a novel about Obi-Wan, and he was talking about how he was like having this deep meditation, and he was trying to connect, and he was actually having conversations with Qui-Gon Jinn while deep in the Force, because Qui-Gon was the first one to figure this out. He was the first one to be able to somehow preserve his consciousness after death, which is alluded to in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and also alluded to in Star Wars The Clone Wars. So don't tell me I'm wrong, Steve. Qui-Gon Jinn was the first one to figure it out,
Uh
and then
huh.
they talked about it a little bit in Revenge of the
Uh
Sith,
huh.
and then Yoda was meditating, trying to do it himself, and so was Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine.
And their
So,
study buddy Han Solo. Yes, I know. I was there.
no, Han Solo should not be a Force Ghost. That's the point of this.
Okay.
We are getting off track. We're going to move on to the next thing, which is HBO is officially producing a Watchmen pilot episode. And that's interesting because, first of all, okay, I like the Watchmen movie.
I
I
do
do.
not.
I know you don't. But I think that it's one of the most accurate comic to film adaptations like ever. Like Snyder practically took entire freaking like what's the panels from the comic book and just put it on the screen. But like, made it all live actiony or whatever. Like I don't really think that you can do better than that film. I don't think that there can be a better adaptation of Watchmen. I just like how could you possibly do that? It was like almost frame for frame the same as the comic book. Are you really going to tell me that this new TV show is going to somehow be better than that? How though? I don't know. Why? Are you okay with them making a Watchmen TV show? Are you going to watch it?
No. Well, there's two different
Are you
questions, Adam. I don't
okay?
care if they
Fine.
make it because it doesn't affect me, but I'm not going to watch it.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
I
I mean, do you
mean,
care at all?
they could just take the existing movie and cut it into half-hour episodes, and they'd have 3 or 4 seasons done. So there we go. Just do that. Problem solved.
I mean, that's kind of true, actually.
There you go.
Well, okay, fine. I don't know. I feel weird about this. On the one hand, I like HBO, and most of their programming is pretty solid, but I just don't really feel a need to see a Watchmen
I
TV
don't
show.
either. And
Well,
I
okay,
feel
but
personally
you're
attacked that they're making another superhero show and expect me to watch it because I have a lot of that to do already, and I won't be doing it. I'm sorry. I just got
all
caught up
right,
with
all right,
Gotham again. I don't have time for that.
right. Okay, fine.
I
So
like Gotham.
I know you do, Steve. We've talked about this, but now we're going to talk about the next thing, which is that Sony has no plans to make another handheld um, game
Good.
or gaming system, which I think is really interesting that they're not going to do that.
Do you? I would
Yeah,
have
I
thought it would
do
make perfect
because
sense.
I mean, okay, I liked the Vita. Am I the only one who
Yes,
liked
you
the
are
Vita?
literally the only one.
Really?
Really.
Why though?
I don't know. I don't know
It's
why that is, Adam. I didn't make that call. The PSP
it's
was
not
like the
fair.
8th best-selling console ever, or something like that. That's pretty good, considering. I mean, I think it's
Yeah,
still under the DS and the Game
I don't
Boy,
know.
but that's still
It's
pretty
just
good.
when it comes to like the marketplace, what's the word? God, what's the word I'm trying to find? Um, um, competition. Jesus, I knew it was a C word. Jesus Christ. Competition is good for in the marketplace, especially
Yeah.
good for video games. Like, I really, really think that Nintendo
Um,
just having a complete
okay. All right.
monopoly on the
Okay.
handheld market is not a good thing.
Okay.
I just don't.
In principle, you're right. Having competition is an important thing, and keeping everybody in check is important. The flip side of that coin is the practicality issue. How many people did you know that owned a Vita, Adam? Just take a how just
Uh,
stab.
one
Okay, how many
one
people did you know
person,
that owned a DS?
a
The
lot
race
more
is
than
over.
that.
There's no that's not a competition anymore.
That's true. That's a good point, actually. It's not really a competition when one of them is just a
Yeah,
complete
I don't
failure.
think anybody that if Sony came out with the PlayStation VSP or something, I don't
Okay.
think that's really gonna grab any business anymore, especially with the Switch. If I was gonna pick a system, fuck, I'll just take the Switch, dude. That's a console and a handheld. Whereas the handheld, I might be compatible with my PlayStation, maybe, but I'm never gonna use it in that function because I never use the other two that way. Unless
Yeah.
it gives me some kind of
Yeah.
amazing benefit where I can suddenly start playing my PlayStation games in their original quality on the go, then maybe. But that's not going to happen because that's just not reality. So it's not a thing. It's just not happening. It's not,
You're right. You're right. You're making good points.
and it would be
I
ludicrous for
can
them to
live
try
with
to
it.
get into that market now. You know,
Yeah.
Xbox knew better. They
Yeah.
didn't even try, but PlayStation had to learn this lesson the hard way.
I mean, they actually did pretty well in the in Asia. Like they did really well not in America. It's just in America, weirdly, Nintendo just completely dominates, which is really it doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
I don't
they
know.
are single-handedly responsible for saving video games over here, so it's not unheard of.
I don't know. I just feel like, especially nowadays, blah, 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 I
Well,
can't
all
speak.
those people who were
Especially,
saved by them in the glorious time of the crash of games are
right.
adults with disposable income now, so that's why.
All right. Fine, fine. So,
So
next bit
better
of
luck next time,
we're just gonna
PlayStation.
move on then. We're gonna move on to the next bit of news, which is that the charity DLC for Shadow of War, the Mordor game, is now going to be free. So to kind of give it a little bit more context on this, so there was going to be DLC for Shadow of War that was going to include Forthog Orcslayer, who was a guitar playing badass NPC character. And he was supposed to look like and be like a representation of this guy named Michael Forgy, who was an executive producer on the game until he died from cancer in 2016. And they're going to make this DLC and a pay. It was going to be a paid DLC that people were going to pay money for, and then all the proceeds were going to go to a charity, specifically to Forgy's family. But then in the trailer where they announced that this is going to be happening, fans noticed that there were some donation exceptions in certain parts of the world, and people got really pissed about this. So in an effort to make people not hate them, WB Games and Monolith announced just today that they're just going to be making a direct contribution to Forgy's family, and they're going to release the DLC for free. And I feel a lot of different feelings for this. On the one hand, I think this is a nice thing for them to do. I like this whole idea of this DLC, immortalizing one of their, executive producers. It's really nice. I think it's a cool idea. I also think that someone somewhere in their company is a shithead because like somebody decided that there are going to be donation exceptions in certain parts of the world. Somebody decided that they are going to try to take some of the money that was meant for charity and keep it for themselves. I don't know who. I'm sure, some corporate machine somewhere did that, but it's shitty. And I feel bad for that. And but at the same time, I also feel bad for the people who were earnest in making this DLC, because like, now they're releasing it for free and they have to pay all this charity shit out of pocket. Be quiet, cat. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm talking a lot.
Well, I'm okay.
I'm just gonna.
I
Go
don't.
ahead.
I
Go ahead.
I agree. I don't think it was deliberately scummy of them to do it that way. I want to believe that this is just a case of not thinking ahead rather than being a shitlord. But it's difficult to say. Obviously, the people who made it were good intentioned. I mean, obviously they were trying to honor their pal, and they were trying to get some money towards his funeral costs and or whatever. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for them, man. I mean, if I had the game and whatever, that would be a reason enough, I guess, to pay for it. I wouldn't feel bad about that, having done that. But you're right. There was somebody way up the corporate ladder who had to be rubbing their fingers together and going, I never met that guy, but I sure as hell am going to make some pennies off of his death,
Yeah.
And
someone must have done that.
Yeah, you can believe in the general goodness of people and just hope that's not the case, but chances are there was somebody up there who, even if they weren't, twirling their mustache about it, they were like, okay, this is a tragedy, hearts and prayers and all that, but...
Hearts and prayers.
Yeah. Yeah. But
oh my God.
We can definitely skim some pennies off the top of this. And it's like, okay, yeah, you could. And I'm sure you will, I'm trying not to look... it's a bummer situation, so I'm trying not to look at it in the cases of, blank and...
being greedy.
Blatant robbery, but yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it was just maybe it was just weird licensing things. I don't know. Maybe they were earnest about it, and it just came across as being bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta hope anyway that it's just incompetence rather than
I don't know. This is kind of a tricky situation, and we don't know all the facts.
I mean, you can see why people would be mad about it, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I want to believe it was just a lack of looking ahead rather than it was actual, malice.
Yes. I'm with you. I want to have faith in them, and it seems really shitty of them to try to capitalize on a coworker's death.
Yeah. Which is why I don't think that's how it went down.
If that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
pretty sure that's not
what's going on. That's
pretty
really
sure it's
shitty.
not.
Yeah,
I'm 95% sure that's not what happened.
Yeah. In related news, I'm really excited for that game, but I doubt I'm gonna get it right away.
I don't know.
Oh my God, dude! I'm so far behind when it comes to video games. Like, I've had the Tomb Raider game, the newer one, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've had it for a year, and I'm finally playing it again.
Wow.
I'm 46% done, and I've had it for ever. I'm really slow when it comes to playing games. It's a byproduct.
Don't worry, man. I've had Dragon Age Inquisition for years, and I haven't made it out of the tutorial level. So.
Yeah, that's a different situation, though. That's because you don't want to.
That's true. That's true. It's really
for me.
I've tried, Adam. I've given it a chance.
I get it. I know. I understand. It's not for everyone. I understand. But my problem is I don't have time for games. I can watch TV shows. I can watch while I'm eating or getting ready for work or whatever. But I can't I have to have my entire attention focused on a game in order to play a game.
Well, it sounds like you need a game system on the go. Let me introduce you to the Sony Vita Station, the new handheld from Sony.
Yeah.
It plays PSP UMDs.
Shut up, Steve. Okay, so that's it for our news this week. Yay! And hey, guess what? We didn't talk about Star Wars again.
Yes, we did.
We didn't do it.
We did, actually. The news wasn't about Star Wars, but we still managed to sneak Star Wars in there.
Oh, you're right. We were talking about trailers and stuff. Or actually, no, that was for the spoiler. Yeah, spoilers and trailers. Yeah. Still, though, it wasn't news. It wasn't a bit of news.
I don't know if it still counts, Adam. I feel dishonest saying we didn't talk about Star Wars.
Damn you! No! So we're now going to do my humble opinions. So, do you have a humble opinion on this
Yeah,
movie?
I got one. It's not very long, but I got one.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
last night I saw the Assassin's Creed movie.
Oh no.
Did you ever see it, Adam?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
did.
good. Well, for the
Um,
uninitiated, the Assassin's Creed movie is a really, really boiled down slash retelling of the first game.
sort
Sort
of.
of. It's the
Yeah.
same sort of principle, except it's not about any of the same characters.
Well,
You're some jackoff
yeah.
from Spain or something, and the new guy is not a Desmond.
His name is Caleb Lynch,
Yeah, it's a bad name.
and
It's a bad
yeah,
name for a bad
it's a
character.
stupid.
But I
Yeah.
don't yeah. So okay, well let me just start. My humble opinion, that movie sucks. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's a bad piece of film. But I I was watching it. I was watching it with my dad, right, and he didn't know anything about it, so I was kind of having to like fill in the gaps for him about what the hell was going on screen, you know. And he was kind of like, "Why are they doing this?" Like, okay, well, that's like the Animus, right? You know, that like they plug you in and you like get to view your memories as an ancestor or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, all right, that's kind of stupid." And I was like, yeah, "It's kind of stupid, yeah." And it's just like, oh, that's the apple. What does the apple do? Okay, so it's some kind of like magic precursor artifact from like some space aliens or something that came out from the past or something, but they're like all dead or something. And he's like, well, that's stupid. I was like, okay, yeah, it's pretty stupid, but that's what happens, right? And he's like, okay, so wait, he's like so he like knows kung fu now. It's like, okay, yeah, because like when when you get plugged into your ancestor, you like learn all that shit from them. And he's like, that's stupid. It's like, yeah, it's kind of stupid, yeah. And it's like the whole movie. It's just basically like, I don't understand. Okay, well, this is what happens. Well, that's dumb. I know, I get it, but that's what happens.
Oh man. See, my problem with the film is that it simultaneously treated you like a child while also expecting you to know what was going
Oh,
on. You know what I
I didn't
mean?
even get that far yet because I was too busy
Ugh.
explaining the whole thing to him and the whole time, and he's like, okay, so like they're like ninjas. Does he turn into that bird? Why does that eagle keep showing up? It's like their logo or something. He's like, that's okay. So like they don't have magic powers. No, okay. So like are the Templars the good guys or the Assassins the good guys? It's really hard to tell. That's not really a good guy in this story. It's like, well, how do you know who to root for? It's like that it's called Assassin's Creed. Just root for them. Well, I don't want to root for them. Well, you picked the wrong movie, Jack. But whatever. So I'm watching it. I'm sitting there, and it's like I hit the button, like the little pause thingy on my TV because I recorded it because I'm not gonna pay for it. It was just on TV one day, and I hit the button to pause, and it's like, holy shit, we're like 30 minutes into this movie, and nothing has happened yet. Like he
Oh
shows
god.
up or he gets kidnapped or something from death row or whatever, and they take him to Spain and they stick him in the
In the
Abstergo,
Animus.
into Abstergo in his little sweatpants or whatever, and it's like, okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
all right. And like a bunch of morons, they give him weapons for some reason. They put blades on his wrists when they stick him in the Animus for no reason. It doesn't seem to do anything. He just has them. But whatever, that's not important, I guess. And like, there's a bunch of assassins there already, but I don't remember them being in the other. I know they were mentioned that there were other test subjects, but we never saw them. But all of them already seem to be assassins, except for this guy, and they're all mad at him because they think he's going to betray them, even though he's not part of the order, and he's going to give away the location of the apple, even though they should all know. And also, they got the guy's dad, for some reason, who's also an assassin, which that bugged the hell out of me because if they're looking for a pure bloodline or something, why didn't the dad work? Because the dad would be just as likely to have that bloodline as this kid would be.
Unless it came from his mom. Unless
Okay, then
like that particular memory
all
was from
right,
his mother's
fine.
side.
Then maybe that's the case, and maybe that's why he killed her, I guess. But that doesn't. It's still weird to me that
Actually,
happened.
if we want to go into this as a huge Assassin's Creed nerd, killing his mom wouldn't even accomplish that because
I know.
the
I was thinking that
Abstergo,
too. I was like, they can just take her brain out like they did in the third or fourth or whatever game.
the
Like,
fourth
yeah,
game,
like they
yeah,
did with
that's what they did
Desmond's
with
noggin.
Desmond. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so that doesn't change a damn thing. But that putting that aside, it's like, okay, so whatever. And then they're dicking around in the Animus, and we get to see a flashback of this guy and this gal running around, and they do some Indiana Jones shit on some wagons, and then like they're burning at the stake or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is an awful lot of setup for what I imagine the plot is. And then it's halfway through the movie, and I'm like, what's happening though? Where are we going with this? And then it's like, oh, okay, whoopsie daisy, they stole the Sultan's son or something, and he has the apple just lying around in a fucking shoebox in the wall. And then they just go and give it to him in a trade for this kid, and then the assassin dude jumps down and kills them all and takes the apple or whatever. And it's like, all right, groovy. And then I look at like the climax happens where the bad guys find, or the Templars find out where the apple is, and they go and get it. Which, by the way, that really pissed me off because it was just lying in a church somewhere, just in a box on a shelf. It wasn't hidden in the floor. It was just in a box on a shelf, and nobody knew. And nobody knew. Like the priest guy.
You think that some janitor would just be like cleaning one day and open it up and be like, "What is this?"
Right? Because like the priest guy that gave it to them knew it was there because he picked it up. And it's like, okay, so either they're guarding it and they're doing a shit job of guarding it, or they just didn't know it was sitting on that shelf for some reason. And it's like, both excuses are bad. Both of those things are terrible. And the climax happens, and he does the thing, and amazing, he's all good at assassinating and shit, and then the girl is there, and like the love connection that was not deserved is there. And then like she's like, oh, I must avenge my father, I'm gonna kill all the assassins, I'm a Templar now, or whatever, and it's like, okie dokie then. And then I hit the button again, to pause it, and I look, and there's like, holy shit, there's like 20 more minutes of movie. What could possibly happen? And then credits roll for 20 minutes, and it's like, oh, that's what happened. And it's like, this was a disaster. For the first half, nothing happens. And then for the second half, way too much happens. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, like, pump the brakes, dude. This movie is this movie. Just spread it out. You could have cut some of that shit in the middle. Take out all the other people there, all the other assassin folks. Just cut all their parts because they don't matter, and just give me more of that guy, and you would have had a nice, more balanced story here. You know, I don't. I don't know. I don't.
It's okay.
It's a bad movie,
so
Adam. It's a bad movie.
If I could jump in,
please do.
And talk about this film for a second, which I never did get a chance to talk about because I was almost ashamed of it. I remember being excited for that movie, and it's awful. But I mean, this is coming from someone who's a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and I'll admit that I found some enjoyment in the film, like here and there, but like that was purely from like oh, that looked nice, like you're like, oh, I liked this one, scene, stuff like that. Like as a film, like if I'm just viewing it as like a cohesive story, it isn't that. It's fucking shit.
Oh yeah, it was a disaster.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I hate. Oh my god.
So that's what I had to subject myself to, and I had to sit there and watch my father pour over this, and he's like, "You like this game?" I was like, "Well, it's not. The game is better."
The game is better, like definitely. But yeah, on the one hand, I like that they weren't. I'm glad that Calum wasn't just Desmond. Like I didn't want them to retell the story of the first game.
But they did basically. They just changed some names.
That's kind of the thing. Is like they kind of took the first game as like an idea and just tried to do it with another character, which I thought was really unnecessary and pointless. Like it's like if you're gonna have a new character, why don't you do something different with him instead of just making him Desmond 2.0?
Seriously, yeah. Also, you could have tried it harder to make him more likable, because he was a really unlikable individual.
Yeah, he really wasn't likable. I thought Michael Fassbender was decent in the role. I thought he did the best he could with the shit he was given. Like I thought that as an actor, I thought he was doing the best he could. So that was nice, I guess. I thought his father was completely unnecessary.
Oh, absolutely. They didn't even need to bring him in there.
Confusing. He didn't need to be there.
His parts in the movie were to kill the mom in the opening scene. Which, fine, if you're going to have that, fine. But he didn't need to show up again, because the only thing he did while he was there, being trapped in with Desmond 2.0, was talk to him about why he had to kill his mom for surezies, which basically just made Desmond 2.0 get pissy and go volunteer to be animist, and then kill a guy at the end, a really unimportant nameless guard, and then be killed himself by 6 or 7 other guards. Which that whole scene could have just been done without entirely. Which they're all stupid because they left him with the knife, which I have no earthly idea why they thought that was a good idea.
That's another thing.
Who's head of security at Abstergo?
Yeah, these Abstergo guys, like, they know how the Animus works. They know that going into the Animus, you start to learn the skills of your ancestors. They know that. And they're still just letting these assholes walk around with knives on their hands. It's just like, oh, don't worry, they don't know how to use them. Yeah, they do. They learned.
Yeah, the first time you saw him doing Tai Chi in his room, you should have been like, okay, well, that's suspicious. Maybe we should keep an eye on that one.
Actually, that's one thing I can kind of give the film. I thought that they did a really interesting job visually with what the bleeding effect was, like where he kept seeing his ancestor. I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of
that's fine,
neat.
but that never paid off. That never
No, it
amounted
didn't.
to anything.
I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, trying to like give any kind of praise I can. But I thought from like a visual slash like
No,
almost
that was fine.
intellect.
I enjoyed the scene in his room where he actually fought that guy. That was fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And
whatever to that, I guess.
I actually liked most of the past scenes, but I thought that there wasn't any like rhyme or reason to them. Like there was
No,
just
there
like
wasn't
stuff
really.
happens and then nothing and then stuff happens. Like I also thought that they were too short. Like they only spend like what, I don't know, maybe like a third of the film in the past,
Barely,
and I
even
feel like
that.
that was a mistake. Like especially because almost nothing happens in the future
Yeah,
other than like the very
everybody
end.
knows the most important part of any Assassin's Creed game is the time you play outside of the assassin. Everybody knows that. Walking around Abstergo in your stupid
Look,
sweatpants and
I'm
sweatshirt.
totally fine. I'm totally fine with them making an Assassin's Creed like movie set in the present. That's okay with me, but I need stuff to happen in that
Yeah,
in the present.
yeah,
I
that
don't
would be
want
cool.
to watch like 40 minutes of them just kind of dicking around, sitting in a mess hall, eating food, doing tai chi in his bedroom, like basically nothing. Nothing's going on. And like I'm supposed to give a shit. And I'm just like, "Wow, when the hell is the next past scene?" Because that shit's actually kind of interesting. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I absolutely loved his assassin robes in the past. I thought that they looked awesome. I
Oh,
loved
I'll
them.
be honest, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was too busy looking at the bottom of the screen to read the goddamn subtitles.
Yeah, that was another thing that was kind of weird that I didn't understand. Like they never did that in the
Just
games
English,
because
bro. Like the fuck. I mean,
yeah,
you're.
just do what you did in the just do what you did in the games. Just give them French or like, Spanish accents or whatever. Have them speak
Yeah,
English but with
like
Spanish
for our
accents.
benefit, just make
And
it
then they
English,
can
man. I don't.
literally all you gotta do is just throw one line in there. It's just like, oh yeah, translation software. Like you could have them speaking Spanish for like a minute, and then just be like, oh wait, we haven't put in the translation software.
Yeah, because
Click,
they
click,
even
click, click,
had the
click.
guy say some shit with no subtitles so that the lady could have it translated on the screen so that we would know what it said. Just do that all the time and just write it off as it being constantly translated. Like it would have been so easy. But no, you had to make me watch the bottom half of the screen all the time and miss all of your exciting action sequences and jumping and shit because I had to watch a bunch of people say shit in Spanish.
No, I really was disappointed with the Assassin's Creed movie.
Yes, you should be.
It was really not very good.
Coming from the
And
perspective of a fan, that's extra sad.
come
And coming from the
coming
perspective of
yeah.
somebody who's not really a fan, it's still pretty sad.
Well, I mean, like you went in with like no
I did
expectations,
not. I fully expected it
and
to be bad, and I was not disappointed by that.
yeah, I went in hoping it was going to be good and was completely
And
disappointed.
see what
I thought
happens
it
when you
was.
hope, Adam?
It's funny because
Abandon all hope, Adam.
we bought it, right.
Oh, well, that was...
My girlfriend and we bought the film. I have the Blu-ray sitting on a shelf over here,
I'm sure that
and
looks good on your shelf.
because well, it does look really nice.
Did you
on
buy
the
the
shelf.
special
It
edition that
does.
comes with action figures?
No, because that's stupid. No, I did not. But so we bought the film and we watched it, and while we were watching it, oh my god, she was so bored. Like the whole time she was just like, "Oh my god." She's just like, "Is it over yet?" And I'm just like, "No, it's not over yet." And she's like, "Is it over now?"
Yeah.
Like she was it was just, oh my god. And like from her perspective, which is someone who's like almost never played the games but actually likes the games, like she likes watching them, it was terrible. From my perspective, as someone who is a huge fan of the games, it was terrible. From your perspective, of someone who has played the games but isn't a huge fan of them, it was terrible.
Yeah, so it really doesn't appeal
Is
to
it?
anybody. That's really
Yeah,
what we should
no.
take away from this. It doesn't appeal to
It,
anybody.
it simultaneously tried to hold your hand by constantly explaining what things were. Like, it's like, this is the animus, this is the apple, this is the da, 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 da. It was constantly trying to explain to you things while also expecting you to already know what things were. It was the weirdest combination. It was like it wanted you to be a fan, but it didn't want you to be a fan.
Right.
It was stupid.
It
I
was.
don't
That
like that.
really is the size of it. It was stupid. So the
Yeah.
world is
So
poorer for that.
Um, for my humble opinion, I recently watched. What am I gonna do? For my humble opinion, I recently watched BoJack Horseman season 4.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and in my humble opinion, it was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was really great. I thought it was really well written. Especially, I will not spoil it, but there's a twist near the end as to like the identity of a certain character and an identity of a certain character's parents. That was really well done and was super cool. And I don't want to go into any more details about that. It explored it explored like intergenerational trauma in a really interesting, like, it not only was it visually interesting, but it was like it was heartbreaking, and it was funny as hell, but it was also super fucking depressing, while also like, ah, my god, I fucking loved I really like BoJack Horseman. I've never really talked about BoJack Horseman, but I really like the show. And I think that season 4 is one of the best seasons the show's ever done, behind maybe season 2, is it, or season 3? I don't even know. I mix up the seasons, but season 4 I have in my brain right now, and it's awesome, and I loved it. Did you? I know you saw
I
it.
did,
What did you
yes, I
think
did
of
see
it?
it. I also really like BoJack Horseman. I for the fourth season, regarding that twist you're talking about, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know if I was emotionally hit as hard as you were about it, but I don't know. I still think it's a really good show. It's one of those
I don't
things
know.
I'd sit
Okay,
down to marathon.
there's a particular moment. I think it's the last moment. The scene where BoJack is on the phone
Yep.
with the one character,
Talking about
and
Honeydew.
then yeah, talking about Honeydew. Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's exactly what they were doing. It was funny, and then she says something, and then he smiles. Um, I broke down at that point. I don't know why it was so, like, I don't know, it was like happy tears. Oh my god. I and I also really enjoyed, I didn't break down at this point, but I really appreciated it, the scene where, okay, mild spoilers, it's not going to like ruin anything for you. Not really. I really liked the scene where BoJack's mother remembered him, and like this whole season he was talking about how he was gonna, like, he wanted her to remember him so that he could tell her off and just be like, fuck you, mom,
Mm-hmm.
you're the worst, blah 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 blah. And then finally she remembers him, and this is when he's at one of his lowest points because of reasons that I don't want to talk about really, because with stuff with Hollyhock. And he's at this really low point, and she remembers him, and then instead of just yelling at her or berating her or whatever, all the things he said he wanted to do, he comforted her, and he told her, you're at the beach, you're in Michigan, mom, you're with your family, and blah blah blah. And it was such a nice moment, because it was the first time where we really have a sense that BoJack is growing as a person. Like he is becoming a better person slowly but surely. And after all of the all of the horrible shit he's done, after all of the shit that he has endured, he's finally starting to come out of it in a way. And that was one of the things I really liked about this season. Like seasons like 1 and 2 are really dark, where he's just in like he's in this depression spiral. He's lashing out with people, to all the people around him, and he's really fucked up. And it's really hard to watch after a while, because it's just like, oh my god, like I just want these people to be happy, and
Well, I
I don't
mean, I
know
think
how
that's
that
one
could
of the
possibly
strengths
happen.
of the show is that they do a really good job of making the unlikable people unlikably likable. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it's interesting. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, every character in the show has
Oh
issues,
yeah.
and every character in the show is both likable and unlikable at the same time. Like, everyone, you can relate to every character, at least all the main
Yeah.
characters. Like, you can't relate to the Penguin character in the background, but
The
whatever.
Penguin Publishing
I
guy.
just, yeah, yeah, like, whatever. um, but like BoJack, Princess Carolyn, Mr. Peanut Butter. What the hell's the other girl's name? I can't think of her name. Mr. Peanut Butter's wife. Why can't I think of her name?
I can't either, but I know who you're talking about. The
Yeah,
girl
whatever. The girl,
who
like
BoJack
and
wants
they're
to bang.
well, he did originally, but he doesn't
Sure, he
anymore,
doesn't.
seemingly. Well, I mean, don't we all? I
Yeah.
mean, seriously. Yeah. Fine, whatever. And then what's the other one? Todd.
Todd. Yep.
Um, like all of them are like these flawed, like like sometimes terrible people, but also at the same time really good people. Like
Yeah.
you like them, you want to see them be happy, but at the
Well,
same
okay.
time, you
Most of them are
sometimes
terrible to themselves. Like
yeah.
the girl there with Mr. Peanut Butter, whose name I can't fucking remember. She's
Yeah, I
more
can't remember.
self-destructive than anything else. You know, she's trying to
Yeah,
tear
some
her
of
own
it
marriage
is.
apart. But
Well, but at the same time, it's like, she was trying to tear her own marriage apart, but isn't that kind of a good thing? Because
well,
her
she can't seem
marriage
to
was,
decide, and that's why it's compelling. But like
yeah,
BoJack is self-destructive and outwardly destructive.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
know,
And Mr. Peanut Butter is like really just self-interested more than anything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
He cares about me, and like he likes other people, but only to the point of getting them to like him almost.
right.
It's really it's interesting his dynamic. He's not a bad person, but he's very much all about himself, and he has a really hard time understanding why other people would feel differently from him
Hmm.
about he has a lot of issues. I can't remember her name. Oh my god. My brain keeps thinking like Amy, but I know it's not Amy. God damn it. Um
Girl, just call her girl.
the girl. Like he has such a hard time relating to his own wife, who's like such an introvert and so different than him, and she doesn't like parties, she doesn't like grand gestures. And he means well, but he's constantly but he keeps doing things the way that he wants to do them. He's doing what he wants, he's doing what he expects everyone else to feel, and that's just not the way she feels, and he can't understand that.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it's fascinating. I find it amazing that like this television show that is like this fascinating character study about all of these self-destructive people in their own different ways that makes you like and dislike them at the same time. Half of them are also animal people.
Yeah, yeah.
like
It's
it's
like the
so
dark days
fucking
of SpongeBob or something.
yeah, like it's so weird how like a show that is probably the one of the most brutally honest, most real things I've ever seen has talking fucking animals.
Yeah.
Like everyone is a different species, and that's perfectly normal and fine. Like if a bird, if a horse and a human have sex, the baby is either a horse or a human.
Yeah.
It's not some
Yeah, and
weird,
it doesn't come out as
crazy
some sort of
combination.
Frankenstein's monster combination homunculi. It's just one or the other. Like like Princess Tinkles or whatever the hell her name is. What's the cat's name?
Princess
Thank
Carolyn.
you, Princess Carolyn. Princess Carolyn and her mouse boyfriend were gonna have a baby, which by the way, miscarriage, that's some serious dark shit right there.
Yeah, holy shit,
Yeah,
that is.
but like they were like, "Oh, I hope it's a cat," or "I hope it's a mouse." Or it's like you just can be either one, and that's whatever.
Yeah, it's just weird how that works. That was another thing is, oh man, Princess Carolyn's whole thing, like with the miscarriages and like with that whole episode where like she's imagining her like daughter, her like granddaughter in the future or whatever. Fuck did that hit.
Oh,
That
dude,
that
that was a
fucking
really fucking
stung.
dark episode.
Fuck me, dude. Like it was just like, but it's not real, and she's just like, I know. Like fuck me, dude. Like no, stop it.
You're
Like
not
oh
making it to make me
god,
feel from a show with anthropomorphic animal people.
god.
They're not even like
Hey.
really animals. They're just people with fur and animal heads. They walk upright. Like
Yeah, so
BoJack
like
has
some of
no
them,
horse anatomy except for his horse head. He
well,
looks like a
yeah,
chess
he does,
piece.
yeah, he does. But that's another thing is like, but like then there are like animals that are like birds. Birds can fly. Like even though their wings aren't wings, they're
Right,
hands.
yeah.
Like it's
But everybody's the
weird.
same size too. Like the mouse is the same size as the cat. You
Yeah,
know? And they still do animal things. It's really bizarre.
yeah. It is really
They're kind
bizarre.
of
But
playing with the line there.
to kind of finish my thoughts on this, in my humble opinion, season 4 was excellent,
Oh yes.
and it really really worked for me. And we considered talking about this today, but we decided not to. But they announced that it's going to get another season. It's getting a season 5, and I'm so excited. I really really love the show. I'm probably going to rewatch it in the not too distant future. Right now, I'm in the middle of rewatching Doctor Who. I'm trying to get through all 10 seasons before the Christmas special, and
wow, you are far more committed than I.
I mean, I'm already like halfway through season 5, so like
no turning back now.
Fine. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Like it's just like I can't stop now. Like I'm already there. Yeah. But anyway, that's it for me. In my humble opinion, BoJack Horseman is awesome. And now we're gonna move on to random encounters. So I'm gonna pick. Oh yeah, I should probably explain this. Random encounters is when Steve and I both pick. Well, I pick. Steve randomly chooses 2 characters that will fight against each other in a random encounter. Encounters can range from anything to a battle to the death, to a pie eating contest, or a race around the world, or whatever the hell else we can think of that we put in our chalice of encounters. And I always pick my characters based on the stuff that we talked about in today's episode. So I'm going to do, what the hell is that girl's name? Nakiri? I think that's her name. The female Avatar thing from Avatar.
Oh, I thought that was the race, not the person's name.
No. The race is the Na'vi.
Ah, okay.
And I think her name is Nakiri, I think. Something like that.
Okay, the female... The blue chick from Avatar, you got it.
The blue chick from Avatar, yeah.
Alright, groovy. Let's see what I got here. Let me just pull it out of the Sacred Chalice. The lights are shining in my eyes. Let me see if I can reach into the flames here. I got Captain Kirk.
Oh, he's gonna fuck that.
Oh my god, dude, he so is. He doesn't care that she's twice as tall as him. That doesn't matter to Captain Kirk.
Are you kidding? He loves it.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright, so the challenge is best wingman. Come on. Dude.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, of course Captain Kirk is the best wingman. He's the ladies'
Okay, well, alright. It depends on how you mean best wingman. Because Captain Kirk, if you're palling with Captain Kirk, you're going to nail some hot alien green chick. But he's going to take the better one.
Yeah, but
you're gonna get the friend.
Yeah, that's true. But still, it's better than nothing.
I mean, that's true.
Freaking Nakiri or whatever the hell.
Oh, you're not gonna get nothing with that.
You're not gonna get nothing. She's just like some creepy Indian sort of person
from space.
Who's just like from space. Who's like, hey, let's go fight for our tree.
Got it right for your fight to party. And let's stick our ponytails together and fuck under the jellyfish tree.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, definitely Captain Kirk. No question.
Absolutely. All right, good job, Kirk.
Yes.
All right.
Not really, though. I lost again. Damn.
Up your game, dude.
Oh, yeah, I gotta pick someone. I want to do something with Kingsman, but I haven't seen Kingsman, so I can't really do that. I'm gonna go with, let's see, Terminator. Let's go with Terminator, like the real one, not the
Arnold Schwarzenegger one. The T-800 Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
Wow. Yes, that one.
Okay, I got Spyro the Dragon.
All right.
The challenge is most overpowered.
Oh, hell fucking yes. The Terminator is so overpowered. He's like practically unstoppable.
Especially the Arnie ones, they can't be killed, dude. Except for that one time when they were killed. But other than that, it doesn't happen. When he's the good guy, he never loses.
I'll be back.
So, Spyro has the inability to fly, which is important for a dragon. He's like 3 feet tall, which is not good for a dragon. And he can only take 2 hits. Well, 3 hits if you got all the dragonflies. So 3 hits? Yeah, 3 hits. Whatever.
And
he's got pissy fire breath, which wouldn't hurt the Terminator, and he's got a charge attack, which wouldn't hurt the Terminator. So yeah, he's not gonna. No, he's not even the strongest in his own universe. So he's not gonna. Yeah.
Nope, I win this.
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
Yes.
Arnie wins for sure.
Okay, so I guess for the last one, I'll do for the Watchmen pilot. I'll go with Rorschach.
Oh, okay.
My favorite Watchman.
There you go.
My favorite Watchman character.
I think he's everyone's favorite Watchman character.
I mean, yeah, because he's the best.
And he's just Batman with like a wiggly face.
He's low budget Batman who kills
basically.
Yeah.
I got Yamcha.
Oh. Oh, great. Yamcha. I think Rorschach could take Yamcha in a
You
fight.
think so? I
I
think
think I,
most
I,
people
I
could
do.
take. I think most infants could take Yamcha in a fight.
All right,
Especially
then
since in
wait.
Dragon Ball Super he's not even a martial artist anymore. He just kind of quit that life. So he's whatever he peaked at, he's not even there anymore. So
That's good.
the challenge is most likely to become president. This is a toughie because um, Yamcha is well, I don't know. I guess Yamcha's charismatic in the lovable goof Leon kind of way, but I mean I don't know if people actually like him. He's managed to worm his
Ah,
way into the friend group of the most powerful beings in the universe. That's probably
I
good.
mean, on the flip side, Rorschach is well liked in real life, and
Is
everyone
he?
thinks that Yamcha is a joke.
Oh, you? Okay, I kind of meant in universe, Adam.
No, I know. I guess if we were gonna
I don't
go with
think
in
people like
universe,
Rorschach in Watchmen. I
no,
think people are afraid of
he's
him.
it's pretty well known that people think that Rorschach is like a fucking insane in the
Which, I mean,
Watchmen
to be
universe,
fair,
which is
he
true.
is.
like,
So,
like he absolutely is.
I mean, it's kind of a toss up
So
because I don't
yeah, I
think
don't know.
either of
I
them are
feel like
good.
no one would ever vote for Yamcha for president though, or whatever.
I don't believe
Like
they would.
I can't imagine it.
But I don't think
And
anybody would vote for Rorschach either, and I don't think either of them would even run. So,
I guess okay. If we were going to go in that direction, who is more likely to run for president? I would say Yamcha,
you're
because
probably right.
yeah, because like I can't imagine Rorschach would just be like, no, fuck
Yeah, I
that.
have brooding to do, excuse me.
All the scum and villainy of the world will look up and say, "Run for president," and I'll say, "No."
Exactly. Whereas Yamcha would be like, yeah, vote for Yamcha is a vote for the underdog. I've never won a fight. I mean, died to a Cyberman like a bitch. Vote for Yamcha. Brought back to life at least 7 times. Vote for Yamcha. The unassassinatable president. Vote for Yamcha. I mean,
Oh my god.
they don't have they have a king actually, so but whatever.
Well,
I'm gonna give
whatever.
it to Yamcha just because of the
Yeah.
two, I could see him squeaking out a victory if he ran unopposed.
Yeah, I agree. Whereas I can't imagine Rorschach would ever even run at
No, I
all.
don't think he would. I think he's got way more important things to do than try to compete against Nixon for a 5th term.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who's
Um,
president in the Watchmen world, right? Nixon's still president
yeah, it's
there?
Nixon. Yeah, it's
Okay.
Nixon. Yeah. Okay, so then you win again.
What else is
Damn it.
new? Surprise.
Second week in a row. I hate you. But that'll be it then. So, uh, those are the complaints this week. If you can't complain, share it with your friends. Bye.